I'm looking forward to hanging out with you today. I have been looking forward to questions, so let's just get right to it. Every time I try online arbitrage, I buy products that tank. What am I doing wrong? All right, that's a really good question. Um, there's two different perspectives to look at this from. Number one, saying that every time you buy products on online arbitrage, the products tank. So let's kind of get a little bit deeper into this. Let's talk about the pricing tanking. If you've been selling on Amazon for any amount of time, you'll start to notice that prices are always fluid. Prices are fluid when it comes to supply and demand. When supply starts going up and demand goes down, the prices go down. But of course, when supply starts going down and demand goes up, the prices will go up. And so it's one of those things that if you find a great deal online for an online arbitrage purchase, it's possible there are other people finding that same deal. And so the supply on Amazon is going to go up because other people are finding those same deals as well. So it's just something to be aware of when you're going into online arbitrage, that you're going to probably have some competition early on. And it's the people who are more patient, who wait out for the people who get their items to Amazon, and then they start realizing, oh, there's all this competition, I need to lower my price. That if you just wait it out, a lot of times the prices will recover and you'll be able to get the price that you wanted at the beginning. And it takes a little patience, and it takes a little bit of willpower, because a lot of times we want these items to sell so fast. In fact, we might sell one or two right out of the gate when it first gets to Amazon, but then other people get their stuff to Amazon too, and the prices start going down. What you don't want to do is be the one who wins the race to the bottom, because if you win the race to the bottom, you're going to end up losing. Be patient, wait for your price to come back, and then once you start getting some momentum with Amazon, some momentum with online arbitrage, you should be able to have those items that are spaced out. So it's like, you buy something in January, the price tanks in late January, the price starts to recover a little bit in February, and then it sells in March. Well, you've waited all that time, but in the meantime, in February, you're buying something during February, the price might tank in March and April, but then in June, or whenever, the price recovers and comes back. So someone asked the question, how long should I wait? How long should I be patient? And that's going to be different for different products. And I'll talk about that on the second half of your answer, because the first answer is about tanking prices. The second part of properly answering your question is, is the item that you're buying going to be an item that sells often? A lot of times people make a buying decision based on the sales rank of that day, which is one of the worst decisions you can make when buying inventory for Amazon FBA. Yeah, we've got, I've got at the blog, I've got it right over here. At fulltimefba.com, we offer up a free sales rank chart that gives you the top 1%, 5%, 10% for each Amazon category. But just because something happens to be in the top 5% of sales rank today doesn't mean it's going to stay there, and it doesn't mean that it's going to sell all day long. So if you're just buying an item based on the sales rank of that day, that could be why some of the prices are tanking, because it's a really slow moving product. It might have just sold yesterday or just a few days ago. And so it's something to be thinking about. Almost every time, well, actually every single time I buy an online arbitrage purchase, I look at the camel sales rank and sales history. I look and see what the sales velocity is, how many times an item has sold in the past, at what price it sold in the past. Another reason why prices might be tanking is because at one point this item was selling great at $20, and it's selling all day long for $20. But then all the people who are selling it at $20 sold out, and there's only the $50 people selling it. And you search for that item online, and it's selling for, and you think it's selling for $50, but really it's not. It's just priced at $50. It's really selling at $20, but there's nobody priced at $20. The lowest price is at $50, and you just assume this thing has a great sales rank, and it's priced at $50, so obviously it's going to keep selling for $50. But no, you need to look at camel history. through your scouting app, whether it's ScamPower, Profit Bandit, Scoutify, and be able to see the past so that you can help predict the future. You need to make sure, whether it's online arbitrage or retail arbitrage, look at that information. The app that we use for retail arbitrage is Scoutify. It comes packaged with the inventory lab processing software. It's somewhere between $40 or $50 a month. If you go to fulltimefba.com/inventory lab, you'll get a free 30-day trial where you can use their listing software on your computer and their scouting app free of charge. And it's a game changer because you get access to the Keepa. I'm just making up stuff now. You get access to the Keepa graphs, which show you when Amazon's been in and out of stock, as well as other information. And Camel that talks about the sales rank history, sales price history, all of that information. And you really do need to do that. If you just think you can scan something and look at one page and make a decision, that's pretty rare. You need to spend about another 60 seconds at the most, maybe 30 seconds, just looking at Keepa, looking at Camel to make your decision. You might be thinking, oh, that's going to slow me down. That's going to take so much time. But it's worth it. You want to use, seriously, an extra 30 seconds to think through, to look at those graphs, to make a better decision. It's a whole lot better than spending hundreds of dollars on items that you're going to send to Amazon and they're never going to sell. So hopefully that will help. When it comes to seasonal items, I keep seasonal items at Amazon all year. I like to look at the Camel data and see what they're selling during the off seasons. So I'm only selling books. RA and OA overwhelm me. Can I still make a decent income? Yeah, if you focus on books alone, there are people who make six figures in sales on Amazon simply by selling books. I don't think they do it by themselves. They might have other people outsourcing, and they might be doing other things, but it is possible. So books are very awesome. They're low investment. Most of them you can get them for under $1 to $2, and then they sell anywhere from $10 to sometimes over $100 for some books. They're really good. Books are one of the best places to start off with Amazon FBA. I saw someone ask a second ago about asking about bagging stuff. Let's see. Yeah, books have a low return rate. Someone asking about bagging board games. I personally shrink wrap board games. I've got an impulse sealer and I've got the shrink wrap plastic, and I like to shrink wrap the board games. I end up putting a little sticker on there that's saying that it's, that this item is, if it's collectible, I make sure I put a sticker on there that says this is collectible, and I shrink wrapped this item so that everything stays in the box for the pop. So I love shrink wrap. I love using that when it comes to board games. All right, I've seen a lot of really good questions. I wish I could just, answer them all when they happen. But like I said before you hit send, copy your question, and that way you can have it ready to just paste later if I miss that. So, all right, let me see. Go ahead and ask me some more questions. Ask again. Let's see. What is your focus for FBA right now? Our focus is learning wholesale. We've learned a lot of wholesale, and we are in the process. We've contacted wholesalers. We have gotten catalogs. We're going through the catalogs right now. That's our main focus for FBA right now. But we're continuing to do retail arbitrage. I go out at least once a week, spending a day doing retail arbitrage. We're continually doing online arbitrage. We subscribe to a few lists. We have a program that we use. So that is something we're continuing to do. So the work that we're spending is retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and I'm trying to find wholesalers right now that have enough items that are worth getting, that I'm able to make their minimum order to get our feet wet with wholesale. And again, just like when you're first starting out with retail arbitrage, it takes time to get used to it. It takes time to know what to look for, and it takes patience. And I'm experiencing that all over again with wholesale. It's taking time finding good wholesalers. It takes time to find items that are profitable to sell on Amazon. But once you get it going, once you get that momentum going, and like with retail arbitrage, once I got comfortable in Target, comfortable at Walmart, comfortable at all these other stores, knowing where to look, what prices to go, the times to go look, then it became just second nature. And I know same things can happen with wholesale. And the great thing about wholesale is when I sell out, I can just go back and get more from that company. and not have to go, spend a lot of time looking for the next big sale or the next big item. I already know that it's something that's worked. I find wholesalers for a couple different ways. Someone asked me, where do I find wholesalers? There's two different ways. One way, you can go to Amazon and find a profitable item and then try to contact the manufacturer of that item and see if you can develop a wholesale relationship with them. There's another way. You can find wholesale trade shows online, and you can either go to those if they're in your area, which I recommend, or you can just sign up to go and get access to their vendor listing, and their vendor listing will give you their website, their contact information, the contact person, and you can just send them an email and say, hey, I own this store. I'd love to be able to carry your line of quality products. Can you please send me a catalog of your products? Here's my sales our tax certificate. So you don't need to have a certain license to sell wholesale, but you do need to have a sales tax certificate. So you want to make sure that you're set up with that, and you can find that. How to find that? You can type in the state that you're in, and then type in sales tax certificate, and your state will have somewhere on their website where you can apply and get it. Sometimes immediately, sometimes they'll have to mail it to you a week later. But that's how that works. But I've got access to hundreds of wholesalers. We're trying to figure out just finding some good stuff. Do you recommend buying 1 to 3 of an item, or how many when doing retail arbitrage? It really does. It depends on the ROI. It depends on the rank. If the rank is really great and it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of competitors, I will buy multiple items. But if the rank is kind of on the edge of what I'm comfortable with, then I might just buy one. We have a whole blog post. If you go to fulltimefba.com/going deep, it kind of gives you an idea of my thought process on when it's a good time to go deep. What does go deep really even mean when you're buying multiple quantities of inventory? And when is it a good idea to maybe just buy one item or none at all? So you can find out more about that, fulltimefba.com/going deep. But again, it depends on how much I might be able to get back, what kind of rank. Like if the rank is super amazing and awesome, then I'll clear the shelf if I can. But sometimes if the rank is, and again, I talk about Camel all the time. I probably should see if I should contact them and get paid every time I mention them. Then I'd be rich, because I talk about it all the time. I look back at the Camel data and I see how many times this item is probably sold in the last month, and then I can guess, okay, how long is it going to take for me with the competitors I'm competing against to sell through this item? So if it only sells 10 times a month, I'm not going to buy 40 of them. But if it sells 40 times a month and I can purchase 10 of them, I'll go for it. So do you buy items with no reviews? Yes, I do. I do buy items with no reviews. Think of it this way. If you've been selling on Amazon for any amount of time, how many times do you have reviews? How many times do you have to sell an item before you finally get a feedback? It takes forever to get a feedback. I probably have about 1,000 feedbacks on my Amazon, and I've sold hundreds of thousands of items. I don't know exactly how many items I've sold on Amazon, but I've sold so many. And it just takes forever. And it's the same thing with product reviews. People usually don't go leave product reviews unless they really love an item or really hate an item. And so if there's an item with no reviews, if I look at the Camel data, it shows that it sells fast and sells at a price I will do it. I will sell an item with no reviews, and I'll sell an item with bad reviews. Guess what? A few days ago, I was in Walmart. I found an item. There was about 8 of them, and they were selling for $1 each. And the average review was like 1.5 stars. It had like 1 5-star review. Everyone else gave it like 1 or 2 stars. We've already sold 6 out of the 8 that we bought, and we do this all the time. Even if an item has bad reviews. In fact, I'd probably buy an item that has bad reviews over an item that has no reviews, because at least the bad reviews, it shows people are buying it. And a lot of people are worried about returns, or a lot of people are worried about getting negative feedback for items that have bad reviews. I'm not worried about that, because if they leave me bad feedback about that item, it's going to be a product review, and Amazon will remove those. And if they don't, I can ask them to remove a product review if they're leaving me a bad negative feedback on the product. And secondly, most people don't go to the hassle of actually returning stuff to Amazon. So even if one person returns one of these items that I sold, that's just 1 out of 8, and it's pretty rare when people return stuff to Amazon. Even though we still get returns, it's still pretty rare. And I don't ever let fear of returns, fear of negative feedback, fear of no reviews, fear of negative reviews stop you from sourcing, because if the data shows it's going to sell, I'd buy it to resell. Talk about books. How come some CDs are restricted and some are not? And do you use OA X-ray? Okay, there's some CDs that are restricted because of the company. I believe Columbia, I believe a few other CDs, as well as DVDs, because of the company that makes them, they're restricted. We've moved away from selling CDs and DVDs on Amazon for a couple reasons. Number one, the possibility of accidentally, I'm not buying. If I buy a CD or a DVD, the only reason I'm going to sell it on Amazon is if I buy it from the manufacturer. And so, if I buy a CD or a DVD and someone claims that it's counterfeit, I want to be able to have a receipt. I want to be able to have something that proves that it's not counterfeit. And most of the DVDs or CDs that I buy to resell are either thrift stores or garage sales. So I stay away from that. So that's why. And some of them are restricted. Simply because of the company. So yeah, someone asked about OA X-ray. Yes, we've got a blog post coming up it's going to be a review of OA X-ray. We love OA X-ray. If you don't know what OA X-ray is, there's a couple different ways that you can use it. You can go to like Target.com, go to a page where there's a bunch of items, click on the OA X-ray Chrome extension, and it all of a sudden turns that web page into a spreadsheet that breaks down the item, where it is on Amazon, what it's selling for, what your ROI is, what your net profit is, what the sales rank is, the category, all the information that you need to make a good buying decision. It does it like that. Okay, maybe a little slower than that. Maybe like this. I don't know. So, but it does it really quick, and it's a whole lot faster than going back and forth with the FBA calculator and going back and forth with trying to figure it out on your phone or with other different types. It just makes it saves so much time. And I've also used it with wholesale sourcing. I've been able to upload Excel spreadsheets, CSV files, and be able to. I can have OA X-ray scan 2,000 items in about 30 seconds and tell me what are the best items to purchase on that. So OA X-ray is great. FulltimeFBA.com/OA X-ray. Usually they only give you a 3-day trial, but with that link you can get 6-day free trial to use it, and it's really good stuff. Someone asked if there is no pricing or sales rank history on Camel, what do you do? If there's sometimes, Camel does not have information for every single item. Either no one ever has asked for Camel to research that item, so they don't have any data for that. Or sometimes it's an electronic item and it's a sub-sales rank, and so Camel doesn't read the sub-sales rank numbers. So if I don't see that there is any information, the next thing I do is I go to the product page and I look for recent reviews. I look and see if people have been giving recent reviews to that item. Because there's times when I've scanned something in the past, it didn't have any Camel information, but I went to the product page and it had 5 reviews that were left this month. And I was like, okay, if 5 people are leaving a review for it this month, that means it's selling a lot. If 5 people out of all the people who purchased it are leaving reviews for this item, that means it's selling a lot. Sometimes it might be a brand new item. And if it's a brand new item and you look and it's like it's a name brand or a popular character for a toy or something like that, there's other things to look at. If there's no sales rank information for Camel, you can go to eBay, search for that exact same item on eBay, click on the little advanced search button in the top corner of eBay, and then you can search completed auctions, and you can see if people are selling it on eBay. And you know what? If people are buying it on eBay, they're definitely going to buy it and pay even more for it on Amazon. So that's a couple different ways to think about that. So yeah, we're hanging out doing questions and answers about Amazon, FBA, making money, selling online, buying liquidation pallets, good or bad. I have a friend of mine who I talk to every once in a while, a coaching client who focuses on liquidation, and he's been able to have really good success with that. I know that there's other people that go to liquidation stores looking for things. There's sometimes some really good money to be made. For me, it's not in my comfort zone when it comes to sourcing products. To me, when I'm buying liquidation, especially pallets, it's sight unseen. You don't know exactly what you're getting, and it's possible that those items could have been opened or damaged. And it's not. I don't want to spend the time to go through all of those items and inspect them. Even though the ROI could be really good, it's not worth my time to go through and inspect a huge pallet of liquidation items. Now, I'm in a different place than a lot of you are, and you're in a different place than I am. And so if you have the time available to go through a whole pallet, then more power to you. And if you are okay with having to throw away some of it or donate half of it or deal with those issues, then that's great. And I think it's a good idea for you to think about that. But again, with some people claiming that health and beauty items or electronic items or other items could be counterfeit, there's no proof that what you're buying is a genuine article, even though it has it on the box and it looks right. So if people ever claim that it's counterfeit, you want to have some type of not rabbit trail, you want to have some type of paper trail that leads you back to showing that what you're buying is a legitimate item. So I stay away from it, but there's a lot of people who do it and have really good success with it. So it's to each their own. And if you feel comfortable with it, go with it. But if there's even a little tiny bit of doubt in your mind, I would just find something else to do. When can I sell an unrestricted category? It says restrictions or limitations may apply. So yeah, if there are limitations, it won't allow you to list it. If there's something that's restricted, if there's a category that's restricted, if it's hazmat or whatever, it won't let you list that item on Amazon. And if it does, by the small chance that it was able to actually get listed to Amazon and you send it to Amazon, it'll go into unfulfillable inventory or inventory that's no listing, and so you'll end up sending it back. Yes, stranded inventory, that's what it's called. And then you'll be able to send it. So always seems to say that. So yeah, if you find an item that it says it's restricted or whatever, there's some brands that are restricted even though you're open for that category. Like everyone's open to sell toys, but Star Wars Episode 7 toys, Frozen toys, for the most part, those items are restricted and you have to have special approval for those. Same thing with other brands. Like there's some brands that are restricted in health and beauty, and so the best thing to do to find that out is while you're scanning, you can open up the Amazon Seller app, scan that item, and it will tell you if you're eligible to sell it as new or used. And yeah, there's a lot of baby brands that are restricted, and so if you want to try to get approval to sell something that's restricted, sometimes they'll only say that you need to have proof that you are a wholesaler for that item. Or you are a distributor for that item. Like I know my wife and I found a bunch of items to sell in the baby category, and we sent them to Amazon, and then it turns out that brand was restricted, and we had to have them all sent back. And I was like, well, what can I do to be approved to sell this brand? And they said, just give us the contact information that brand is allowing you to sell their items, that you're a distributor or seller for those items. Well, I didn't. I just bought them at a retail store, so I wasn't able to do that. So now they're selling on eBay. So that's what I'm doing with the items that are restricted to sell on Amazon. So that's what I've done with that. And the same Amazon Seller app tells you if you're qualified to sell it or not. Hopefully I was able to answer that for you. So yeah, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up below, or if you have a comment or a question, you can do that below too. I try to respond to all comments and questions as soon as possible, so if you have any questions about what I said or want to follow up on something, or maybe even want to add something to the discussion, you can do that in the comment section below. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on any Amazon FBA videos, be sure you subscribe. And you can always find more about me going to fulltimefba.com. Subscribe to our blog. We got lots of freebies for you and lots of stuff to help you take your Amazon business to the next level. Well, I will see you later, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.